The reason I call this don't overestimate your competition is because I think sometimes we hold back because we see others doing great things and we think that's the ceiling of what you're able to create. All right. Thank you for joining me for another episode of Mindset Mastery. Go ahead and check in as you're coming on board. And thank you for joining me. I got a lot of great information. We have a busy couple of weeks here at A's and Associates. I'm so excited. There's a lot of things happening with the market. There's a lot of things up in the air that I think we need to get prepared about, right? We need to be really focused on what the hell we're going to do. You need to get really focused on where you want to go and what you're going to accomplish. This sitting in this place of hesitation or this overthinking and thoughts of despair have to go out the window. We have to be able to build our capacity. And for those of you that have stuck to the prime three with your power deposits, your purpose deposits, and also your profits deposit, I'm going to tell you, you're ahead of the game. You have an advantage. There's many people that rode this wave, and we talked about it this last week. They rode this wave and they prospered tremendously, but they didn't build any skill set during that time. They didn't build any mindset. They didn't build a capacity to overcome big obstacles. All they did was ride this huge wave. And this wave has been around for 8+ years. It's been amazing. If you were in the industry and you just showed up, odds are you probably did better than the year before. But things are going to change now. Real players are going to rise now. And those that just kind of went with the wave are going to be washed out. And those are the realities of it. And until you take your business serious, until you take your daily process when it comes to marketing, sales, systems, and leadership, will you understand what is required to succeed long term. But again, many of your businesses have stayed the same way for years, year after year after year. Well, because the wave has come and there's still benefit. And it looks like it's working when actually it has no legs, it has no teeth. And that's what your competition's at right now. And that's why they're afraid. That's why they're unwilling to do whatever it's required to win. Because at the moment it gets tough, they will fold. Understand that. At the moment it gets tough, they will fold because they have no foundation. Now, for those of you that have stuck to the game plan, made your necessary prime 3 deposits, a power deposit, taking care of yourself, right? Physically, making sure you have the energy and the vitality to get up day in and day out to fight the battles that come before us on a daily basis with our families, with our business, with things outside of our family and business, right? For those of you that started learning more about your overall self-development, about your behaviors, about your dysfunctions, you have an advantage because you're working towards them. You're working towards fixing them. You're working towards improving them. And those of you that have been committed for your profits deposit, of making sure that you're improving your marketing game, making sure you're adding systems and processes, and making sure that your sales constantly increase, not just on the wave, but are constantly increasing by being the leader and developing those skill sets. Marketing, sales, systems, and leadership. You have an advantage. Now, why am I talking like this? Why am I being so aggressive? Because I think some of us have to wake up. Some of you have to wake up. And you can't be in this place of hesitation. You will lose. Because when a real player comes by, you will fold. And I don't want you to do that. Now, if you stuck to this game plan, it's been like this Karate Kid process, right? You remember that? The old school, original Karate Kid, Mr. Miyagi. Mr. Miyagi was telling Daniel-san, right? Do the wax on, wax off. Do the paint up, paint down. Remember that. All Daniel could do is complain about his shoulder. I've been complaining about my shoulder lately, by the way. All he can do is complain about his shoulder. He didn't realize or see the bigger picture. He hated the work. He hated waxing all these cars. He hated the fact that he had to paint the entire house. But when push came to shove, when things got tough, when a player came and challenged him, he was able to rise. What he didn't know, his capacity was being built the entire time. He became lethal in the game of karate. And that's what the Prime 3 does for you. That's what the 12-week targets book does for you. It makes you lethal in the game of life. But if you choose not to do it, then you're choosing to be a spectator of those that do. And the results they're able to obtain. Now, more than ever, it's important for you to build a foundation. And I'm giving you the recipe. I'm giving you the recipe that's worked for me. And I tell you, I'm going into the next 6 months with my head up high, ready to make some big moves. You think you've seen me grow? Wait until you see me at the end of the year. There's no way I can lose. What is there to be afraid of? And there's a message, before I get into that, there's a message that I put out earlier this week. And if you didn't see it, you need to get plugged in. You need to stay plugged in. You need to come to these mindset masteries. You need to go be part of the coaching programs if there's any available to you. You need to be involved with Broker 411. You need to stay connected. But let me just go ahead and show you this message that I put out last week. And I hope it resonates. We're going to talk about it a little more. Here we go. Aren't you afraid? Aren't you concerned? I actually got that question today about what's happening with the market, right? Real estate. You're hearing the news about crypto and stock market. You're hearing about NFTs. Like, I don't even know what an NFT is, right? We got people talking about that. They're talking to me about it. I'm like, I don't know what that is. And the reason being is that over the years, I just didn't ride the wave. And that was what I was preaching here on a consistent basis, not just to ride the wave, right? We can all make money by putting our money where the wave is growing. Like, some of us grew a lot of equity in our homes, but you didn't really do anything to build that equity. It's not like you built your skill set, your mindset. You didn't work hard for that. It just came with the market. Now, the only good thing you may have done is bought the property. But beyond that, like, all this money came to you without building any skill sets. My whole point of view in this and how I was able to bounce back from, the recession, the Great Recession, right, back in 2008 was I built myself. And I urged every one of you to build yourself. To invest in yourself, invest in your mindset, your skill set, in your infrastructure, in your personality, in your people, right? Becoming more and more valuable to the overall marketplace. So when people ask me, aren't you afraid? Or tell me that I should be afraid, I'm thinking, how can I be? Like, I'm mentally strong, stronger than I've ever been. Physically, my energy's through the roof. My marriage is in line. I have a great bond with my daughters. I feel great. I know I have more skill sets now than I ever had in my life. I learned how to communicate better. I learned how to lead better. Like, how could I be afraid? Because I've always taken myself as the number one investment. Yes, there's other things I could have gone out there and made more money fast, but that's exactly what it is. It's fast money. I decided to go through the monotony of the work, the monotony of learning something, then dominating that, and then mastering it. That's what I decided to do. And that's something I've been imploring you to do all along. Now, I get it. It's hard to push ourselves when things are going really good. But for those of you that did, you guys are going to grow market share like you've never realized in your lives, because you're going to continue to do what got you here in the first place. You push your marketing skills. You push your video skills, your communication skills, your writing skills. That's going to help you. But for those of you that haven't, I'm urging you to start now. And we built a whole infrastructure around that. The 12-week target book was designed for times like this. It makes you recession-proof. So listen, I don't care when the last time it was that you started this, but you're going to start again. And in fact, you're going to start by joining us on Thursday as we have a 12-week target book training. And then the following week, you're going to join us again for the mid-year review. This is not a time to go around scared and acting like the world is going to fall apart. There's millions and millions of people living here in Arizona. There's people that need to buy. There's people that need to sell. So if you're hiding under a rock, they're not going to find you. You need to be more available to them. You need to have that conviction to be in front of them on a daily basis. But again, if you don't have the capacity to do that, if you don't have the communication skills, this is going to be a little tougher for you. But again, it starts with the foundational items and investing in yourself first and foremost. Crypto ain't gonna get you this type of money, right? NFTs, the stock market, that comes and goes. But when you invest in yourself, that's something that pays you dividends for life. Guys, I'll see you this Thursday. We're gonna have Sergio gonna lead how to use this book on a daily basis. And we gotta get prepared for the next 6 months. It's gonna be a hell of a ride. But if you're out there hiding under a rock, good luck to you. So let's start again, okay? Begin again. Talk to you soon. Bye now. All right, so you have that opportunity. You have to that opportunity to go ahead and build a strong foundation. And going into the next 6 months is so vital that you build the ability to stay consistent, that you improve. Everything about your business must improve. Everything, every aspect of it has to improve. The way you communicate, the way you market, the way you do your videos, the way you send your emails. Every aspect of your business must improve if you want to continue to stay in this game at a high level. Now, the reason I call this don't overestimate your competition is because I think sometimes we hold back because we see others doing great things and we think that's the ceiling of what you're able to create. And I get how that feels like. I was constantly looking at and comparing my brokerage to someone else's, all the brokerages in our market, every one of them. And I made up stories that they were superior because they have the branding. They were superior because they have the training. They were superior because this and that and the other. And all I was doing is demoralizing any type of growth that I could actually accomplish. That's all I was doing. I was demeaning myself. I was belittling myself when I said they are better because. When the fact is, I just failed to rise. I failed to do the work. I failed to take on that responsibility 100%. And realize maybe they just have more time on me. That's it. They're not more skilled. They're not more driven. I'll outlast them. Once I realize that I can outlast and I can be as consistent as anyone on this earth, no one's going to stop me. I will dominate this game. And that's the mindset we have to go into this. I think we put our competition too far up on a pedestal. Not only to realize that's the floor of where you can be. The floor. So we have to look at this and humanize the whole thing. They're not superior than you. They've just been at it a little longer. And as a matter of fact, they probably should have built a bigger business that they actually have. And if they had an environment like this, they would have blown it up. But they don't. And when they don't, they pause, they hesitate. And those are your opportunities. It's not they have a great business. They should have built it twice as big, 3 times as big. And here you are putting them on a pedestal. Here you are thinking they're more consistent than you. They're not. They just have more time there. And odds are, the fact is, they may be leaving a lot on the table. And what they're leaving is your opportunity. And it's only a matter of time before you start dominating that game. And they start wondering how you built such an amazing business. But you can't do this with the certain rhythm you're in right now. You're going to have to change that up. You're going to have to shock your system. You're going to have to be more consistent than you've ever been in your life. You want to dominate this game? You want to survive and thrive? Your entire business, your entire infrastructure has to be shocked. That means you're going to have to be on your game. And it's only a matter of time before you have those results. So don't overestimate them thinking they got it all figured out. You need to figure your business out. You need to mind your own business, which means you have to work on it. Because at the end of the day, like I always say, it's a sheep in wolf's clothing. I know, I understand, right? There's that old adage, it's a wolf in sheep's clothing. But I look at the other way. There's a lot of people out there talking a big game. But when push comes to shove, they'll fold. You just got to be the person shoving. You got to be the person pushing. And until you actually do that, they'll remain ahead of you. So you got to decide. You have to decide. Because at the end of the day, I know my competition. They look big. They talk a big game. But all they are is a sheep in wolves' clothing. Because when I push, they don't know what to do. And that's what your competition's doing. So you have to come at it. Whatever they're doing, you duplicate whatever you magnify whatever they do. They post a couple times, you post double that, triple that. You overwhelm your competition. That's what it's about. Because at the end of the day, they don't love the hunt. They don't love the grind. They say they do. They don't love the work. And right now they're freezing. They're hesitating because they know they haven't built anything above and beyond where their business was at 3 years ago. All they did was ride this wave. That's all they did. So you have the foundational items not only to compete at that level, but to completely dominate that level. It's called the Prime 3. It's called the 12-week target book. It's called improving yourself day in and day out. So you have to make a decision. Are you going to get plugged in? Are you going to get dialed in? Because I've been here before. I know this story. I know where I'm going. There's great opportunity out there for me. Because there's a lot of sheep out there. And they've been there all along. But right now they're pounding their chest like they have everything figured out. They haven't figured out shit. Because all they did was ride this wave. I've been on my game every day, building systems and processes every day, improving my marketing every day. And all the stuff they neglected, well, it's going to rear its ugly head. I'm on my game. I haven't neglected anything. I have my health. I have my marriage. I have my family. I have my business. I have my infrastructure. I've worked on it the entire time. I'm Daniel's son here. I'm lethal. And that's what the 12-week target book will do for you. Let Mr. Miyagi build you. That's what it is. There is no hesitation. A real wolf loves the kill. A wolf loves the hunt. And they'll do whatever required. They'll do whatever is required to make sure that happens. So guys, I know what game I'm on, and I hope you're on the same game. And I'm asking you, let's start again. Let's begin again. We have a 12-week target book led by Sergio this Thursday. So sign up for it. Let's go. Thank you for joining me for this episode of Mindset Mastery. I will talk to you soon. Have a great day, everyone. Thank you for joining us for this episode of Badass Agents Podcast, brought to you by AZ & Associates and Do the Work Coaching and Consulting. You can watch this and other episodes by subscribing to our channel on YouTube or by visiting us directly at badassagents.com. And of course, you can listen to this episode and many others on your preferred podcast provider.